Brad, I think you're muted. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to
Damn,
Let's Talk
what's going on,
Movies.
everybody? Crap. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Let's Talk Movies. I'm Brad.
And I'm Miguel.
Round 2 this time. Hope everybody is having an awesome Saturday night. I did not expect to go live this week. I did not. For many reasons. I'll get to those in just a minute. But tonight, special show for you tonight. So yesterday, actually, at about 9 something yesterday, we had a very special tidbit of information drop about the brand new Miramax Halloween series, dropped from Deadline. And tonight we are going to take a little bit of a deeper dive into the news that came out about the Halloween series. We're going to talk about our expectations. We're going to talk about what this little new update says. It's all conceptual things, right? Like it's nothing like
It's all going to be
concrete about
speculations tonight because
right,
yeah.
and it gives us an idea of what's happening, but it doesn't give us like story bits. It doesn't get, it's not specifics tonight. Tonight is more just talking about, hey, what do we want this to look like? And what does this new little piece of news say? Because I think there's a pretty interesting conversation to be had about about what all of this could mean and, where this is going to go. It's going to be fun. And just like it was with, the Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends stuff and all of that news dropping and speculating. I mean, this is going to be the same kind of thing until we finally get some real concrete info about the plot and the story direction that the series is going to take. So we're in uncharted territory, folks, but
certainly are. Yeah.
Miguel, how's this Saturday night treating you, my friend?
We'll find out.
My
I mean,
boyfriend,
this is
lover,
a 24-ounce
dude.
strawberry margarita, so we'll find out if this.
Okay, I have questions. First of all, why do you have a margarita in a styrofoam cup?
Because it's Saturday, my boy.
Somewhere let you take that in a styrofoam cup away?
Yeah, you know that. COVID opened the doors for a lot of things. And one of them was to-go alcohol drinks.
I know,
so
right? It made it easier to be an alcoholic.
Very much so.
It did.
So I just didn't think a beer would have done it today. So
well,
I thought a strawberry margarita would be nice. So I decided to go pick it up one up.
Well, I'll tell you what. Before we get into the movie talk, speaking of alcohol, I'm about to try this.
IPA.
I bought a one of those like 12-pack like combo. It's like 4 different kinds of beers. This one's postseason IPA says a bright and delicious session IPA that will carry you to the postseason. This I can't speak. This 4.5 ABV beer has big, bright tropical notes driven by a blend of hop varieties from around the world. It's the playoffs of beers.
So is this like a football season kind of thing? I didn't know Sam Adams made like IPAs.
I'll tell you, I never. Ooh, that's a nice color. I like that. Oh, I like it. Sam Adams has kind of become my go-to, but not like normal, like not regular. Like if I'm having like a regular, like standard beer, Sam Adams isn't really my thing. But like their like seasonal stuff is pretty lit. I like it a lot. So here goes nothing. Cheers, everybody. Happy Saturday.
All right, one sip. Everybody knows the rules. Please don't copyright me, Dave. How's it taste?
It's like a light IPA. It's not like super like you know how you have a sip of some IPAs and it like kicks you in the balls, it's just really strong. This is not like that. It's even like it's very light. The color.
No, yeah,
try not to drop this all over my computer.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's good. I like it.
Good.
Dig it. Listen, I hope everybody's having an amazing Saturday night.
Yeah.
Tyler, what's up, man? Tyler says, "Hi, Brad. It's me, Tyler. Hope all is well, bro. Miss you guys. Miss you too, my buddy, my man. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm losing my entire mind." Rosalie's here. What's up, Rosie? Zodiac Z, what's going on? Let's boogie, boot scooting boogie. Zodiac Z says, "I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said, but I like the idea of a show revolving around Smith's Grove, its patients, and the people who work there, slowly incorporating Michael." We're gonna talk about that again later because I like similarly the same idea along those lines. I have an idea for that later on. And by the way, Miguel and I have not spoken a word about this news. Do you even know what the article said? Do you even know anything about what we're about to
No,
talk
not
about?
particularly. I one of the
Yeah.
skills I didn't learn when I was growing up was reading, so I think I didn't kind of miss that.
Yeah. He also misses the communication. We have a thing where if I text Miguel, like I could shoot Miguel a text something as simple as like, "Hey man, what's up?" Or I could send him like, "If you don't respond to me, my kidnapper's going to shoot me between the eyes in the next 15 seconds." I would get a response from Miguel at least 16 hours later.
What do you
That's
think?
how it
You look
works.
like a jackass, I guess.
No, I've texted Sierra before to be like, is he alive? Like, is he all right?
I
Are
mean,
we
this man
okay?
forgets. This man forgets I work a job where like I can't cannot be on my phone like from
That's
8 to
fair.
5. So for him to, and it's okay for him to like blow me up on my phone. I guess as long as I respond back by the end of the day, he knows I'm
Yeah.
not dead. So
Usually, what happens is I'll leave you like 18 text messages of like different things that I think of throughout the day, and then I'll call you and we'll have a conversation about it all.
pretty
That's
much,
usually what happens.
which I prefer
Zodiac,
those because it's hard to
yeah,
respond to like every single text that you've sent.
yeah, that's fair. Zodiac Z said, and finding out a way to tell Charlie Bull's hacksaw story with an episode 2. Yeah, I'm not sold on that one yet. I don't know how that would be done and still make it make sense with the rest of what's happening. I think that would, I don't know, that would get kind of messy to me. Rosie said, I have that shirt too. Got it at Scarefest. There was a dude set up with a booth. Got it. It's one of
Yeah,
my
yeah.
favorites. It's comfy
And
too. It's a
I need to pull out
comfortable.
mine because mine's just sitting in my closet
It's a
somewhere.
comfortable shirt.
Hmm.
Uh,
I don't know. Maybe
Gory
when it starts
Tiger's here.
blowing
What's
up.
up, Gory? And then Million is also in the chat. What's up, everybody? Hey, if you
Hey,
haven't
bud.
already, leave it a like, dude. So, couple of things. Mainly a lot of what we're about to talk about, I covered real briefly in my video from last night. You can go check that out if you want. But we're gonna kind of dive into that a little bit more here. So, we know that last October to be exact, there was a bidding war going on after Halloween ends. There was a bidding war going on
Yeah, we all
for
remember
the
those.
rights to the Halloween franchise, specifically the TV rights, because I think that's going to be the big thing. If I had to make an educated guess here, everybody keeps asking what's going on with Elm Street. Now that we know that the Crystal Lake series is happening, and now that we know that the Halloween series is happening, I
Hmm.
would bet the farm. I don't own a farm, but if I did, I would bet it. I would bet the farm that uh, that they're waiting. The rights holders for Elm Street, which I believe is the Wes Craven estate. I think they're the owners right now. There was a rumor a while back that they were hearing pitches for a new Elm Street film. To my knowledge, nothing ever came of that, and we haven't gotten a new movie, so I would assume nothing came of it. But my
Like
guess
almost zero
is
news.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
they're going to see how Crystal Lake and how the Halloween series does, and if they both are big hits, I guarantee you Elm Street is going to be a television series, which I've said all along. I think personally that Elm Street makes the most sense. If you're going to do a television series, a slasher TV series, I think Elm Street makes sense. Scream makes sense too, but Scream, that series was, I
I
didn't
think
make
their
it
only
through.
choice is to
That
do a
tells you
TV
anything.
show at this
So
point in the matter. Yeah.
I know Scream's in its own. That's a whole other conversation, but
Hmm.
yeah, Halloween is. I wouldn't have if I was in creative control. I don't know that I would have chosen a television series. Now, that doesn't mean that it can't work, and I hope that I am proven wrong on that. But there are a few things that weird me out about this. Number one, the TV series thing. Like, how do you stretch this out over the course of a season? Number two, the whole cinematic universe thing. Like if you would have told me that we would get a Michael Myers cinematic universe, I would have like laughed in your face. Like, that seems so absurd, and it really depends on how they do it, and it really depends on like how intriguing the stories are, how well written the stories are, how integrated the stories are. Because if they try to do a Walking Dead thing where there's just like this is happening over here and then this, like, it's not gonna work. It's not,
Hmm.
you know.
Hmm.
So
Do you
I am
do
intrigued.
you find that it's kind of cheap to do a cinematic universe?
I think it's, I mean, let's be real, it's capitalizing off of
Hmm.
what's happened with like with The Walking Dead and the Marvel stuff. You know what I mean? It's capitalizing off of the MCU era things, the TWDU.
Well, that's what I mean. Do you find that kind
DCEU,
of cheap?
I don't think it's cheap if it's done well.
Mm-hmm.
But again, as I said at the top of the show, we are in uncharted territory here. I mean, we don't know what this is going to look like. We don't know how this is going to roll. There's a lot of questions that remain here. So before we start talking details and all of that, let's hear it straight from the horse's mouth here of what was going on. So Deadline article, what the heck? I don't need, sure, show me alerts. No, wait, I don't want you to do that. There was a Deadline article posted yesterday morning, March 8th at 9:24 a.m. Miramax TV boss on the Gentleman's pandemic origins and potential season 2 industry contraction and Halloween TV series updates. Now, I'm not going to read through this whole article. I'll post it in the description if you want to read it. There's a whole lot of unnecessary information in there for what we're talking about tonight. But I did want to show the official article. So if we scroll down a little bit here, they're talking about The Gentleman, which is a hit series on Netflix and things like that. And when they're talking in this article about the season 2 plans for The Gentleman, this is where we get interesting. So they're discussing the fact that the Gentleman series could spawn some type of cinematic universe, and that, it could potentially lead to another sequel or whatever. And the article goes on to say that is an approach Miramax is applying to Halloween.
I love the pick that they used. Articles. Is it? No, it's Resurrection.
Right? Yeah. That's straight up. That's Resurrection. 100%. That is Resurrection. And H1, I don't know where that image is from because that's not an image in the movie.
That's the phone call. I think it is.
I don't know.
It looks
Maybe.
Like it.
We'll see. And then the Halloween Ends back-to-back poster shot. So
yeah, that is uncharted territory.
I know, right? That combination of films. Yeah. So here's what the article went on to say. Halloween TV series, a creative reset. Miramax Television in October signed a deal with Trancas, being Trancas International, who owns the rights, that's Malika God's company, who owns the rights to the Halloween franchise, to develop and co-produce a Halloween TV series, which is envisioned to potentially launch a cinematic universe spanning film and television. Miramax and Blumhouse collaborated with Trancas on the successful recent Halloween 18 Kills Ends movie trilogy. Now, all of this, but I should have led with this. So all of this is coming from the head of global television for Miramax, which is Marc Helwig. Head of worldwide television, Mr. Worldwide. His name is Marc Helwig. This is where this information is coming from. I should have led with that. I apologize. So, according to Marc Helwig, he said, "We are on a fast track. It's a big priority for us. We've had lots of exciting conversations in recent months with a number of really talented people, and I think we'll have a pretty good idea of what we're going to be doing very soon." Helwig said, adding, "We're hoping to lock down the creative team very soon. While the search for a writer is still ongoing, the idea for the TV series already has been identified." So they've already got an idea. Like, they've already got a concept that they're going to run with. It's just a matter of finding the right creative team to bring it to life. So that's, and I would guess when they were, during the bidding war, my guess would be that Malik wouldn't just go for anything unless he thought it was like a good pitch. So I assume they had some kind of decent pitch in terms of like, hey, if we get the rights to this is the direction we're going to take Halloween. This is where we're going to take the Michael Myers story. So hopefully, hopefully there's something kind of ready to go and on the table. It's a big world, Helwig. I keep wanting to say Hedwig, like the friggin' owl in Harry Potter. I really want to. I don't know why. It's a big world, Helwig said, of the 13-movie franchise. The most recent trilogy, culminating with Halloween Ends, provided a fitting conclusion to the story, so I don't think that is an opportunity to go off the back of that. Please don't go off the back of that. Please. We don't.
Not be smart.
We don't need that, though.
Yeah.
So the series is going back to the Halloween franchise's origins. The foundation of it is the original film, the John Carpenter movie, the characters of that film, and perhaps a group of characters that we haven't really focused on that much in recent film versions or even in a number of them, Helwig said. It's a creative reset completely and going back to the original film, as opposed to spinning out any of the more recent film adaptations. That's all we got.
That's it.
So here's basically the rundown of here's the spark notes essentially of what's happened. We know that they are looking to build a Halloween cinematic universe spanning both film and television. This is not just a strict TV series. It's starting off as a TV series, we assume, but hopefully it's going to span into something more. Mm-hmm. We know that. Let me pull this back up here for myself. We know that they have a concept. They are looking for the right creative team to bring that concept to life. And the most interesting tidbit of this entire thing to me is saying that the foundation of this is the original film, the original 1978 film. I didn't take that sentence the way that some people have. Some people have here's where we're going to start this conversation out. Some people have taken that sentence, meaning that, oh, the 1978 movie's canon, the original's canon. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's what they meant by that. I think they mean conceptually, the concept of Halloween 1978 will be canon. That's that particular story. I don't think the movie itself will be canon. I don't think we're doing a TV series after the original film. I don't think that's happening. I don't want that to happen. Like, we've already done that with Halloween 18. Like, we don't need another sequel to the 78 movie. I just don't think that's necessary.
Well, what we had was a legacy sequel, if that makes sense. Because you know,
I don't think this is another legacy thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wouldn't assume it'd be a legacy. I figure it'd probably be like jumping right out of the ending of Halloween of the 1978 one. So, yeah. And I like that idea much better. Now, what I would say would be a tough market to crack would be to recreate the origin of Michael Myers, because that's already like a tough thing to like jump off of and try to create a story out of that, or a franchise out of that, because you have, it's like I told you, like, I think from the beginning when you sent me that link, I said, if they're going to like even attempt to do an origin story to start it off, you will have like hardcore fans. Not to say that's a bad thing, but hardcore fans would have a very high standard as to how they want Michael Myers to be treated if they're going to redo the origin story, as opposed to just saying, hey, we're still going to use the original 1978 film, but we're just going to jump off that, and not even like a legacy jump, like 50 years later, but like literally with maybe even like hours or even days after the events of it. So, listen,
Frank Riker agrees with me, so that's all we need. What's up, Frank?
Okay,
Frank agrees. That's all. No, but I don't think you have to do an origin story. Like, I don't think we have to pull a Rob Zombie and be like, he was an abused child. Like, we don't know. Like, we don't need that. I don't need that. Like, I don't need to see that again. My thing, I think the question here, and I think what people have taken out of context, is we don't need another, okay, Halloween 78 is canon. This is a story to piggyback off. We don't need another piggyback. Like, just remake it. Just start fresh, retell, like, use the same concept, use the same story, but tell it in a different way. Like, tell it in a different way.
Generation?
No, I'm just saying, like remake it, but remake it in a different format. Remake it in a TV series. You know what I mean? That's like, Frank is exactly right. We don't need a fourth timeline. We don't. Yeah. Like, we don't need another legacy sequel. Another, like, hey, this is like, because you have the Halloween 2 thing. Halloween 2 is a sequel to the original. Then you've got Halloween H2O is a sequel to the original. Halloween 18 is a sequel to, like, it's too many, like, bouncing off of the original film. Just start fresh, tell the story again in a different way. I would be fine if. So this kind of goes into a whole other thing. In my video from yesterday, really, I said it comes down to three things. It comes down to the focus, like what story are you going to focus on? Are you going to focus on the same exact 78 story? Michael escapes. Well, Michael kills Judith. Michael's locked up. Michael escapes 15 years later. Loomis tracks him down. He kills Laurie's friends. Laurie's the sole survivor. Like, do we tell that story? Do we tell Loomis's story? Do we just completely ditch Laurie Strode? And do we tell a different story with different characters set on the same night, same premise, just different characters? Like, who is the focus of this?
Well, that's what I mean.
So what is the timeline of this? Do we set this, does it begin where the original film begins and end where the original film ends? Are you going to take from the time Michael is watching Judith and kills her in her bedroom to the point where Loomis shoots him off of the balcony? Like, is that going to be one season? Are we going to break it up? Are we going to do a prequel? Like, these are the questions that are going through my mind. I'm like, okay, like how I could see it done different ways. And I'm not really, the point of this is to more just have a conversation about what would work and what we would like and what we wouldn't like. For me, here's what I would like. Here's my kind of dream scenario with this. I wouldn't mind. I've said forever, if I was going to, if somebody handed me the keys to the car and was like, hey, remake Halloween, my focus 100% would be on Loomis. It would not be on Laurie. Laurie can still be there. I like Laurie Strode. I do. I'm not a Laurie Strode hater. Her character can be there. But Loomis needs to be the focus. He needs to be the main protagonist. He can be a flawed protagonist, but he needs to be a protagonist. I would start the series off with Michael watching Judith making out with her weird, creepy boyfriend in the house. Call me. Yeah. Like, I would start it there. Michael kills Loomis in the kills Judith.
Damn. Make him main character.
Yeah, Kid Michael kills Loomis in the first episode. No. Michael kills Judith the same way that he does. You show Michael being taken in, them calling in Loomis, Michael meeting Loomis. You show Loomis, because you always get the sense, at least I've always gotten the sense, especially in the Rob Zombie films, that Loomis did want to help Michael. Like, he did, and he came to the realization that he was purely and simply evil. It's something like he can't help him. He's gone. And I think if you focused on, there's two ways this go. Here's version number one. You make it a Smith Grove series. Like somebody said at the top of the show, I don't remember who it was in the chat. Might have been Zodiac.
Like focus primarily on the Smith Grove.
Only on Smith Grove. Yeah. If you want, like here's version number one. You show Michael kill Judith. He's taken to Smith Grove. He becomes Loomis's patient. Maybe this is where Loomis develops the alcohol problem. You slowly follow Loomis over the course of that 15 years, trying to help Michael, realizing there's nobody there. He's gone, like realizing he's evil, seeing him, looking past the wall, all of that stuff, and this is kind of driving Loomis crazy, like focusing on Loomis's degrading psyche as he's trying to treat Michael. And then you end the first season with Michael escaping and going to Haddonfield. Maybe that's the season finale. You end with that. Now, my only problem with that is I don't know how that could get really boring really fast. You know what I mean? Like, it would be more of a psychological thriller because who's he going to kill in prison? Like, he's not going to kill anybody in prison. You know what I mean? Unless they pull a Rob Zombie and somehow he does. But
well, they could have him throughout the show continually murdering, as opposed to just him hunting down Laurie Strode
in prison.
Like it start off him already breaking out, Loomis trying to catch him, but then as I think Frank said, continually flashbacking to how he's continually trying to help Michael throughout it, and it's always being like a downward slope.
That's fair. So that's million. You bring up a good point, dude. That's my only like setback with the Smiths Grove Loomis thing is like nothing can happen. Like what are you gonna have happen that's like, ooh, like I don't, it's a cool idea. Like conceptually it's really neat. Like you're focusing on Loomis and his psyche and like, him coming to the realization that he's purely and simply evil. Maybe you do that in an episode. Here's
Mm-hmm.
version number 2. So you can still do those things. You take an episode or 2 and do that. You have Michael escape. The end of an episode, it's some crazy thing. You can make kind of a blend between what Rob Zombie did, where it's more of a like prison break, massacre escape, and you can kind of mix that with the original, where he's just he's there. We don't really see the escape. We don't see how he got out. He just got out, and all the other inmates are out. You can do a blend between the two. I've got a concept in that I've said for probably going on a year now. I've got a concept treatment idea for if I had to remake it into a film, what I would do, and I'm not going to reveal that now because I want to make some content with that. But I have a cool concept for the whole Smith's Grove escape thing, because I think I don't know, the thing that I like about his escape from Smith's Grove is that he let all the other patients out. Like that goes to show you right there, it's not just about him escaping. Like he wanted to cause chaos. He wanted to cause a distraction by letting all of the other inmates out too. You know what I mean?
You really think so?
I think
You really think that was like
do.
his like motive whenever he broke out?
I don't think it was his motive. I just think that he was like, oh, I'll for sure get away because all of these, like, I'm going to let all of these other inmates out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So I think, this is option number 2. You focus on Smith's Grove for an episode or 2, but then we can move to, okay, he's escaped. Loomis is on his way to Haddonfield. Michael is on his way to Haddonfield. That's when you introduce Laurie. You can introduce Laurie. She can still be a supporting character along with Annie and Linda and Brackett and, everybody else. Maybe you do include characters like Lonnie and Lindsay and some of the other kids like that. You give them more of a role. That's fine. I'm down for that. The rest of the season goes on basically retelling the story of Halloween 78. You end the season finale. You end with Loomis shooting Michael off the balcony. He looks down. He's gone. Boom. Roll credits. So that's essentially it's essentially in a nutshell the Halloween 78 story. You're just expanding on it. You're embellishing things. You're expanding on little tidbits within the story. That's an option. I do like option 1 with the just Smith's Grove straight story. But again, as Millions said earlier, I don't know how you keep that interesting. I really don't. Me, as a hardcore Halloween fan, I don't know how you keep a Smith's Grove Loomis story interesting for 6 episodes. I just don't. I really don't. So that's kind of my thought on where it goes, because after that, you can go wherever you want. You can, the only other good thing about the Smith's Grove story is if you tell the Smith's Grove story, Michael's origin story, for lack of a better word, and you end on him escaping, if they really want to do crossover between film and television, then the film can be the events of Halloween 1978, where he goes to Haddonfield and Laurie and Annie and Linda and Loomis and Brackett and all of that stuff. You can do that then. But again, I don't know that would work. If I had to guess right now, if I had to choose, if I had to decide, again, somebody hands me the car keys, I'm probably saying, hey, start this with Michael killing Judith, same way we always have. Embellish the Smith's Grove stuff. Embellish his parents kind of losing hope. Embellish Loomis kind of slowly slipping into this, like, I want to help him, but I can't, and losing hope. Have him escape. Have the Halloween 78 stuff happen. And then end as we end the film where Michael is gone after Loomis shoots him off the balcony. And then you're open to do a film if you want. A Halloween 2 type scenario where, you can do the hospital, you can do a rampage, right? You can do whatever you want from there. But that would be that's my take on what would happen. If again, somebody hands me the keys, that's probably where I'm going with it.
Well, let me
So
ask, do you think would you want to keep it in 1978 or would you want to bring it to 2020?
that's a damn good question.
Yeah.
Um,
Because if you think about it, the 1978
I don't
story
know.
of Michael Myers would not bode well in, 2020, like Michael would already be like his story would probably be on a podcast already or 20 other podcasts.
Investigative journalists.
Yeah, like his story would be already well known
As soon as
throughout
Michael
the
escaped, bro
country.
would be on Twitter like, "I'm coming for you, bitches." Like
Yes,
I'm,
he would
I'm
be
on
on
my way.
X, he would be a TikTok famous, like he would be everywhere already.
It would be
So
him on
for
TikTok going,
no, but you know what I'm saying? Like it'd be interesting to see like what Michael Myers' story would have been like if it would have been in like, our age 2020. But I don't
yeah.
know if people of the fandom would like that because it's interesting to see how he would react with this new generation of uh of kids or teenagers.
But we've
Did,
also seen what happens with that, like the new Texas Chainsaw, where
hmm
Leatherface is literally about to slaughter people, and they're like this.
Well, I think that was just like a satire of like gentrification and how people
It
hate that
was.
shit.
It was.
So
It
that was
was.
like over the top. And I think like 2018 and obviously kills and ends played into that too. But I don't know. It's like how would the initial reaction of Michael Myers occurring as
It would
opposed to
how it would
his
change. Yeah.
legend uh wreaking havoc on Haddonfield. So like
Yeah.
imagine Haddonfield, 2020 three or four and just like them just now being introduced to Michael Myers. It's like, oh God, we know what's gonna
Yeah.
happen kind of thing.
Me personally, I debated on that when I was kind of writing out my idea for what would happen. I would I struggled with that. I was like, do I want to set this in more modern day? Like, do I put it in the 90s? Do you keep it in the 70s? Do you keep it
Hmm.
there? Do you put it in the 2000s? Like, I don't know. I would almost say keep it in the 70s because there's something that makes it scarier about the fact. Like, if you put it in even if you didn't do it in 2024, if you put it in 20, let's say 2015, if you put it 10 around 10 years ago,
Hmm.
there's something part of what makes the original film scary is Laurie slowly finding out that her friends are dead. She's slowly realizing what's happening. If even in Halloween 2, they see the news bulletin. People are calling each other on the phone and the news is spreading like, "Oh, something's wrong. People are dying."
Hmm.
There's something like if Laurie was on the couch like, "Oh my God, there's this man, and and I have to text this person." Like I don't want Mean Girls in Halloween. Like I don't need that. Like I don't need
Our
cell
entire
phones.
generation isn't all Mean Girls. Jesus fucking
I
Christ.
know, I know. My point is though, like my point in that, in saying that is, I don't want cell phones to get in the way of the suspense, and I feel like people would just be texting. Like we don't need like dangertainment crap going on where everybody's got cameras and you're watching it happen live. Like that's not
Well, that's
scary.
what happened.
There's
That's
no
that's why
suspense to build there.
that's why Resurrection didn't work so well
Flopped.
because yeah, it's because they try to like play into like the whole generation
Dangertainment.
of like film and reality TV show, and I know a lot of people just
Mm,
didn't like that. So
yeah.
if to say
Yeah.
they were going to do the TV show, but within like our generation now, it'd be tough. It'd be
Yeah.
tough
Yeah.
to not make
Rosie, I
it
100% agree.
PG.
No cell phones. Zero
So
cell phones at all.
yeah, so
Don't like it.
so Rosie, I assume you'd want it to be back in like this the
Yeah.
seven like the late 70s, early 80s, like during the time where like technology really wasn't like a factor because I think that would limit Michael Myers to to so little in regards to how he stalks and how he like goes after his what's it called his victims. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I mean, look at stuff now. Like there are things that happen now where, you know, whether it's a shooting, whether it's a, so there was that dude in Maine a while back or whatever. I think it was in Maine where he was like a mass shooting suspect or whatever. Like half of that information was on social media and
Hmm.
people texting each other before it was
Hmm.
even on the news.
Hmm.
Like it would take the suspense out of everything. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? It
Because
would.
honestly, one thing that I did not like about one thing I really didn't like about Thanksgiving was the fact that they played into the whole like Instagram or Facebook Live thing.
I didn't mind it
And
there because it worked for that story. It doesn't work for this
yeah,
story.
well, that's what I mean. Like, it makes sense because like that's just like a new. It was just like I mean, it's a rehash of like your typical slasher
Yeah.
horror, but it was just an entirely different character, entirely new slasher, new story, like all
Yeah.
these other stuff. So like it's not like we're already like going in with the predisposition of what Michael Myers is. So it'd be weird to see Michael Myers be someone that's like, like the killer and Thanksgiving. But that's where I'm asking, like, do you want this still in the 70s or do you want it to be in the new generation? Because honestly, God, like you said, we still don't know like what they want to do. So it could be back in the 78s or it could be new generation in 2020 with all these other technologies. Now, are we going to like that or are we going to hate it? That's what I'm asking.
I would say, honestly, put it in the roaring 2020s, like pinstripe suits, jazz, everything is in black and no. Um, no, I would keep it in the 70s. I wouldn't put it
Hmm.
modern at all. I wouldn't go
Hmm.
any more modern than like 80, 82, maybe
Hmm.
like early 80s. I wouldn't go any more modern than that. So,
Hmm.
what about you? What do you think?
For me, I would say definitely like take it back before it's. I think the reason why Michael Myers was so scary was because the access to information was very slow.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
but as soon as information becomes way too fast and way too easy for people to access,
You
Michael
lose
Myers
all that
doesn't
suspense.
really, yeah, you lose all suspense because, and I think that's where a lot of us were kind of like, I'm sure you and I were probably concerned about it whenever 2018 came out
Yeah.
or when Kills came out or Ends, because the idea of information coming to you a lot quicker can be,
Hmm.
um, can play a huge factor in the suspense of Michael Myers. And that's not to say, uh, um, Blumhouse did do a good job with utilizing technology, but at the same time, not making it a huge obstacle to tell the story. Because
Right.
again, like I mean, what's the difference between 2018 and 2024? Like nothing, not much. Like
Not much.
we still have like the same amount of technology, same amount of information scouring through the internet, and yet Michael Myers was still able to hold that same amount of suspense.
Hmm.
So I think that's where it comes down to the studio and the director and the writers to see how they want to play in technology. Because again, you could have something like 2018 Michael Myers, which still has the suspense that we all came to know and love. Because we all say like
Yeah.
2018 was like, okay, Michael Myers is back. Because even with like your typical investigative journalist and podcasters and fucking TV
Investigative
and cell phones and
journalists.
stuff like that. But then you also have stuff like Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 2020, where it was just like the idea of getting canceled or
Yeah.
Instagram
Like
Live
it
and
was
stuff
it was
was
so in
like
your
it was more
face.
like it was more in your face and more like a
Yeah.
joke kind of thing. And again, I think that bodes down to the writers. So um, to for me to say I'm nervous if they ever do it in 2020, I'd be lying because again, it depends on the writers.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I would agree with that. Real quick, let me
yeah,
go back
man,
through
chat was
the
moving fucking fast.
I know I got to go back through some of these comments here. Um, Team Godzilla and Kong said, "Can we have Michael not die this time? They did him bad in ends. I don't think he'll. No, I don't think he'll die this time at all.
No, I don't think he'll die.
Um, I don't think he'll die at all. At least in this first season. I mean, maybe if they ever end this, but I don't. I don't see that happening at all. Because if they're trying to build a universe, what sense would it make to kill off Michael in the season like that? You know what I mean? That's weird. Why would that matter?
Evil doesn't die; it just transforms.
What are you doing? Are you trying to do some weird ASMR? Like, it sounds like you're like scraping a fork on concrete. Like,
I know. You know the tickets that you used to like put in like at Chuck E. Cheese whenever you're trying to collect all your tickets? That's what it sounds like.
I don't remember. I'm gonna be real with you. I have no recollection of ever being in a Chuck E. Cheese.
Ever. Tough life, man. Tough life.
Never once in my life. I have no recollection of that. Zodiac Z said, and Loomis drinking and driving, chasing Michael. I'm serious though. I think there's a legitimate story to be told. If you're gonna make a Loomis story work, I think you've got to show Loomis slowly losing hope, and I think
and ripping that bottle of Henny, I guess.
Yeah, like I could straight up see that being the reason he kind of becomes an alcoholic and I know, like in the first film, holy crap, I didn't look at Donald Pleasance in Halloween 78 and think, oh, bro just got done hitting a bottle of Jack. Like, no, I didn't think that at all. It wasn't until like H4, H5, H6 that it was like, okay, dude is an straight alcoholic, 100%. I didn't think that. But I think that could be part of Loomis's arc to, that could be part of his arc in he is becoming an alcoholic. He's got a problem because of his failure to help Michael, his failure to control Michael, his failure to stop Michael. I think that could be a really big part of that whole Loomis as a whole in this entire series, past season 1, past any movies, like throughout this Halloween cinematic universe, the HCU, I guess is what we're gonna call it, the HCU. Throughout the HCU.
Well, here it's comforting to know that they just, when they say a cinematic universe, they're just talking about TV shows to movies. If they were even going to try to connect like other horror icons to this,
no,
or anything for that matter, yuck.
I'm not down for that at all.
Yuck.
Not down for it. No.
Yeah, which is exactly what people probably were assuming. I mean, I might be the only fucking idiot doing it, but
could you imagine though Loomis like drunk driving, chasing Michael, like driving around Haddonfield? Maybe that's when Ben Tramer dies because Loomis hits him. Loomis kills Ben Tramer drunk. He runs and kills him drunk driving.
Well, it'd be really hard to continue justifying your means if that's how you started off,
Yes, nobody drink and drive, but that was pretty funny. Oh, man. Frank said, make Loomis die within the first episode and introduce his protege that studied Michael along with Loomis. Sartain! No, I'm kidding. Don't introduce Sartain.
That goes back to like the whole like new
generation. Sartain.
New generation cast, like.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that would be like, yes, that would be like, oh shoot, like that would be a big deal. Like it'd be a shock to the fans. But story wise, I don't know if that makes sense because I still think that Loomis.
No, they did Han Solo, so.
Yeah, but Han Solo already had his like due. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like this isn't like, oh, they kill Loomis off in season 3. Like this, like he's saying they kill Loomis off in the very first episode. That seems weird to me. I don't know if that would work. I think that's you say in the first episode. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that would work at all. Rosalie said it might just be about Haddonfield, but about what though? Like specifically, like set in Haddonfield. Like, do you mean like I don't exactly know what you mean there.
Bro, set it in fucking Miami. Why don't you?
Oh, could you imagine?
On Michael's toes,
like
on the beach.
Yeah, bro. Like if he's not in like a palm tree like pair of like swim shorts, like getting a tan, like I don't want it at all. I just don't. Set it in Miami. You got to have that clean Will Smith rap playing in the background. It's great. That could be the entire soundtrack. Screw John Carpenter.
And Michael Myers' mask wouldn't be white; it'd be light brown. Like it'd be perfect, like just along with the color of the sun. Yeah,
it'd be a nice toasted coconut or some shit like that.
Yeah.
They're better off going in a whole new direction. I agree, man. And Frank said something down there. 78 is a starting point, but not the gospel. I agree with that. Conceptually, Halloween 78 can be where we begin. That can be the central idea, the central concept. But once we start to expand and start to build the world and start to bubble up beyond that, I think like do something else, you know? Don't keep the same exact thing. Don't tell you can tell to get the ball rolling. You can tell the same 78 story and expand on it in areas like we talked about with the Smiths Grove thing, or expand on Lori and Linda and Annie and things like that. Maybe make them not so mean to her all the time. You know, it's funny. I rewatched Halloween last night when I was editing the video. And it had been a while since I watched it, and I like to watch it every, 3 or 4 months. Dude, Linda and Annie are not kind to Lori. Like, they're like they pretend to be her friends, but like they say some mean things to her throughout that film.
Well, they're just shooting the shit.
Not cool.
I've seen friends talk shit about each other much worse than.
Oh, that's fair.
Than they did. So
you and I are friends, so whatever.
Yeah, we say some pretty rocked on shit on to each other.
Rock hard. What?
Rocked on. So.
Oh, okay.
If you want our actual languages, we'll put it on mute.
Frank said, I say let the show be acted by little people as a fuck you to Dinklage.
Whoa. What happened to Dinklage? Why are you so Dinklage?
Oh man, that's what it needs to be. You hire the dude who played the guy in The Walking Dead, the ones who live. What was his name? Dom. What was his name? Michonne's friend, man.
Yeah.
Have you watched episode 2 of that, by the way?
Yes, I have.
Yes. Yeah, we talked about that. You're right. Yeah, hire him to play Loomis. I vote he plays Loomis. There it is, right there. I don't mean that to mean. I'm not trying to be insulting, but that is kind of funny. Million said, I understand both sides. As a fan, we want to know certain things. As a filmmaker, I know those details don't matter. Yeah, I think when it comes to the Loomis thing, I don't think we have to know more about Loomis. But I think if you're really trying to do something different with the Halloween story, if you're trying to expand on it in a way that's never been done before, it kind of was with 4, 5, and 6, with the Thorn trilogy. Kind of was with Loomis. We know Loomis was troubled. We know Loomis was haunted by the fact that he could never stop him, which is why every single time he reappeared, Loomis friggin' spawned out of nowhere to go stop him. Like, but I think if you're going to expand on the story in a unique character-driven way, I think Loomis is the key to that, because Loomis is a flawed character. Again, make him an alcoholic, make him angry, make him, emotional and unstable in some ways.
Make him more flawed. Make him do coke. Like, make him do other hard drugs. Why not?
Yeah. In between Brackett and Loomis chasing Michael around Haddonfield, like, he's having to stop to do lines of coke off of like a 7-Eleven bathroom stall. Like, whatever. Like, that's, you got to do what you got to do to stay in the game,
Very true.
Zodiac Z said, the people making the show don't care about the 70s audience, though, unfortunately. If it makes dollars, it makes sense. That's all they care about. Yeah, but I don't necessarily think that... I mean, look, we live in a day and age where Stranger Things is the hottest show on TV. Like I think people are into the nostalgic 80s thing enough that I don't think it'll be a stretch for people to accept the fact that it's set in the late 70s, early 80s. I don't think that would be a stretch for people to accept.
I think that cash cow might be milked dry, if you ask me.
It could. I don't know. I don't know. But I don't think that's a... I don't necessarily think that people would be like, "Are you kidding me? They said it in the this is stupid. They don't have cell phones and iPads." Like, I don't think people would be doing that. You know what I mean? I just don't. Million said, "I will never understand why people feel bad for Michael dying. He's the villain and got what he deserved." Straight up.
Million, you're kind of on the point, man. Like, I mean, no one. I don't think anybody. Well, I don't think anybody feels bad for Michael dying. I think it's just. They just wanted him to keep surviving so they can keep making more movies, if that makes sense.
I'll tell you, that's something that they need to really be conscious of, too, is the fact that, you heard people say all the time, it's hard to make Michael Myers scary again. And it is. I mean, 100%. He's become such an icon at this point. He's like Darth Vader. He's like a Thanos. Like, he's an iconic movie villain. And one of the most iconic movie villains. And it's hard to make him scary again because people know him so well, know the character so well, and
I don't know.
he's so beloved.
I'm sure
I
there's still
think
ways to make him scary because
in the
there's still
design,
ways to make I mean, Star Wars has done a pretty good job of making Darth Vader seem scary still on multiple
right, right,
occasions. So
yeah, I think you have in designing the mask, you have to make the mask look scary. Now, I wouldn't do that's a whole other thing. Do you
we
take the
might get a
Shatner
new
mask
mask.
idea? Do
We
you
might get
do
a
a
new
new
mask, guys.
completely new sculpt? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
Is that something you're kind of concerned on?
I wouldn't say concerned. I there have been a couple of cool like concept masks out there. I'll tell you the one that I love, and some of you may have seen. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. There is so Justin Mabry, who um he is a makeup effects artist. He's one of the co-owners of Trick or Treat Studios. Really like his work, always have. Let me see if I can find it. He did a concept mask a while ago,
Mm-hmm.
called The Butcher.
It sounds eerie.
It's
Is
called The
this a Michael
Butcher.
Myers mask or
It
what?
is a concept Michael Myers mask. So like if they were to make, if they were to make a remake of Halloween, it's called The Butcher. So yeah, so here's
What? Have Michael Myers work at fucking Costco or something?
it's I mean obviously it's along the same I'm going to pull this up here. It's along the same lines of what the Shatner mask is, but this one has more of like an elongated angry
Yeah.
look to it. Let me pull this up. This is on
Probably better
michaelmyers.com
than the whole Thanksgiving thing. The fact that they
or
found it
.net,
like,
I'm sorry.
let's see.
Uh yeah, it's
Uh,
got like a let me see if I can make it. Yeah. It's got a do you see how it like the shape of the eyes, the mouth, it has an
mhm,
angrier look to it. The way
mhm.
the cheekbones are um
It's more hunter than haunting. Does that make sense?
yeah, it's not haunting blank. That's like, oh, you're coming to rip my guts out of my body. Like
Yeah, it's reminiscent. Like, well, bye guys. But yeah, I'd say that mask was probably very similar to the Rob Zombie mask, if I had to say so. Because obviously the picture's gone. But if I had to guess, the mask that he got clearly looks much more like the
well,
hello friend.
hey, I meant to click back to the other screen and I ended
You
up
kick yourself out
kicking
way too
I
much
kicked
more
myself out
than
of
I
the
choose to kick you out.
I know. I kicked myself out of the thing. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, it's definitely a creepier design and I've always really 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 liked it. Like look at that.
He looks more
That's
goblin-like. You know what I
mean.
mean?
Yes, that's a good way to put it. It's got like it's got more of a muscular look to like the cheekbones, the nose structure, the
Mhm.
eyebrows, the mouth. It's got if you look at like the mouth alone and the chin, it's got kind of the goblin thing going on to it. Let me see. Can I just click back and forth between pictures here?
I don't know, maybe.
Maybe not. I don't know. There's another one. Yeah. Yeah. That's great. If that ended up being the new mask, I'd be down. I would 100% be like, okay, cool,
Do you
love it.
find the mask is like very do you think the mask I mean the mask plays an important part to his personality and his lore.
Yeah,
And it ain't the point of Michael Myers' mask is to say that like he's more like emotionalist killing. Like this one looks like he has a purpose for killing. You know what I
right.
mean?
Like it's anger.
Yeah, as
I'd be
opposed
down for
to
that.
mindless killing.
I I I we've seen that though. Like the James Jude Courtney, Nick Castle OG version of Michael. Like that's a more mindless killing machine type thing. Like we've seen that.
Hmm.
Again, if there that's my whole thing about the Halloween series is if you're going to do it differently. Like don't be afraid to go balls to the wall and do something completely different. Like
Like,
and
don't be
if you're
afraid
going
to fuck
to
it up. That's what I'm trying to say.
you get right?
I want
Like,
I want to see something different. If I hate it, I hate it. If I like it, you did a good job. You know what I
right.
mean?
And I think it was I think it was Rosalia earlier had said, no matter what happens, people are going to be like, "Oh, that sucked." You know what I mean? I'm so sick of I don't care if you think Halloween Ends was the biggest just like Jeff Goldblum Jurassic Park. That is one big pile of shit. Like I don't care if you think it was a huge pile of garbage, steaming hot garbage. You do not need to go on social media every single day.
Don't
We're
tell
now
people what
almost
to do.
2 years later and be like,
Don't tell people what to do.
Halloween Ends sucked. I hated Halloween Ends.
Bro, there's like
Halloween
two
Ends ruined
people.
the
There's
franchise.
like two people in our chat right now that probably
Chill
said
out.
that.
Okay, you can hate Halloween. That's what I just said. You can hate Halloween Ends. Hate Halloween Ends. That's fine. But I swear, it's the same exact people in all of these Halloween groups on Facebook that are like, Halloween Ends sucked. It ruined the whole franchise. Don't watch it. Don't watch it. That's it. Don't watch it. It's that simple. Boom. I just solved it for you. Again, here we go.
There you go.
Drop. Mic drop. Don't watch it. But yeah, if you're gonna remake it, if you're really gonna take a brand new route, if you're gonna do a new story, if you're gonna reimagine the Michael Myers story, change it, switch it up, do something different.
This right here killed me.
Make Michael naked.
Carpenter even
Full
returned and
frontal
helped me make a wonderful trilogy, but people still shit on it.
Yes, 100%. Let them do what they want. I don't care. Yeah, as long as you.
I think if Carpenter literally came back from the dead and just like, or if he just came back and just wrote an entirely different story.
I was gonna say he's not dead.
I know.
He's still very much alive.
I was thinking of like a COD, my bad. But if Carpenter came back and just wrote an entirely different trilogy, I think people would still hate him and be like, "Oh, he's so old. He just didn't want to write another story. The studio wasn't let him do it. And he just said, fuck it."
You're never gonna make people happy, ever, literally ever. But, so yeah, I don't know. I think I'm down if they're gonna. You asked about am I okay with it being more of an angrier look to the mask? I am, because like make him super sinister and angry. I think there's a place for that too. Like there's a moment.
Make him have a laugh.
I don't know that I've ever really. I know.
Make
Die. The end of Rob Zombie's H2.
Catchphrase.
I know, right? What would Michael's catchphrase be? Everybody in the comments right now, if Michael Myers spoke and had if the only thing he said was this catchphrase, what would his catchphrase be?
What would he say? Yeah. He'd be like,
it's let me think. It's stabbing time.
It's stabbing time. Okay, dude. Okay, Spider-Man.
It's evil dies tonight time.
No.
Million said trick or treat. He just said, trick or treat, motherfucker.
I heard you. Who was it? Zodiac also said
you hire Busta Rhymes to play Michael. Oh, there it is. I'm campaigning it right now. Miramax, I need you to hire Busta Rhymes to play Michael Myers. It would be the only full circle moment. Like I need it to happen.
Where have I heard this before? Where have I heard Zodiac say this?
This is gonna hurt you a lot more than it's gonna hurt me. It's not from an action film.
It is.
Right?
I don't remember this
let's ask Google. Is gonna hurt you.
Frank said, "I am death." He said it's in reference to H2. Was that referenced in H2? Did Loomis say that he is death?
I am death. You don't know what death is.
Oh.
I've been trick or treated to death tonight. That weird neighbor that comes out. He's like, "Oh, I've been. You don't know you can go down your shoot." It's like the cops and they try, that kind of thing. But yeah, I'd be down for him to have a more like if you went full sinister. I know what I was gonna say. There was a moment in Halloween Kills. Like it's been like the only time I think I've ever truly been like afraid of a version of Michael Myers. Like if I had to go up against any version of Michael Myers, I mean, like obviously if I go up against James G. Courtney's Michael, like I'm dead. I know that. Like I'm not. I accept that. I know. But I got to say, as a young teenager watching Rob Zombie's H2 in the theater, I thought Tyler Maine's Michael was scary. I did. Especially in the hospital scene. I really did think he was low-key kind of freaky. But
You said Tyler Maines or James G. Courtney?
Tyler Maine's.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, he's going to be at Scarefest this year.
You really?
I really want to stand next to him and just be like, "What's up, bro?"
Money.
You know, it'd be awesome.
You know, there's very few people that would be willing to stand in line for like X amount of hours to go see. And I'd say
Tyler Maine would be a cool one. Yeah, he'd be cool because you could also bring like X-Men stuff. Like you'd bring all the Sabretooth stuff too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, but I think if you went full on sinister Michael, I think it would work for something like this. But you can't ever let off of it. You can't ever make it suddenly like he's just not as sinister and awful as, you know, like you would have to keep your foot on the pedal on that and make it where he is terrible. And if you really wanted to go for it, in addition to like the butcher mask or whatever you want to do, when he kills Judith at the beginning of the series as a child, you would have to make that like her death would have to be
pretty brutal.
Like super brutal. Like we're talking Annie's death in H2 brutal. Like kind like what, you know what I mean? It would have to be pretty where like even as a horror fan you're sitting there going, damn, like wow, like that's really bad.
It'd be hard to have him have such a brutal first kill and then the rest be kind of diet.
I know sense. That's what I'm saying. Where you would have to really keep your foot on the pedal, and like if he did that as a child, like as an adult, bro's painting the walls with blood, like 100%. You know.
Yeah. So would you? I mean, would you want him?
Lester is making me constipated. That's awesome.
Would you want him still like the stalking kind of shadowy figure though? If he was more of a hunter.
Yeah, you could definitely keep him the stalking shadowy figure. He's angrier. Like he's just angrier. I think that would work. You know. This was Nick Castle in the original film was more of a stealthy sneak through the night kind of thing. I think this Michael could just be not brutal in the same sense as Tyler Maine, where he's like walking through doors, you know. But I think like when he is attacking somebody, like it could be just like just brutal, like he is attacking somebody, you know. And I think that would work for. I think
bring Tyler Maine back to play as Michael.
Yeah. Listen, campaign, bring back Danny Trejo. I was good to you. His death kills me in Rob Zombie's H1 because the entire like bro is just accepting that, like he doesn't even try to fight back. Like at one point Michael picks him up by the shoulders and he's just like he's just like being held by Michael as he's like tossed around the room. Like bro didn't even try to fight back. He was just like, I was good to you. And bro,
I think by that time he kind of knew like everybody was getting wrecked in Smith Grove. So
yeah, I mean he knew he was not getting away from that. Like you know, he knew there was no point in trying to fight back. But Million said, I don't know, Judas kill was Michael's most brutal kill. It really was low-key. If you go back and watch it, Judas was the most brutal because like he just kept going. Like Annie was like one, like he choked her, yes, but like it was just one cut, you know what I mean? Linda was the strangle, and that was pretty bad too, but it wasn't really like a gory kill. And then Bob, he just stabbed him once and that was it. Judith, he just kept going, like he just didn't stop, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna finish up these comments, and there's one more thing I want to bring up, one more idea here, and I want to gauge everybody's thoughts on it as well. Zodiac Z said he's angry. He's going around the house, rearranging people's furniture. Well, he's still. Could you imagine how scared? Like they leave the house and then somebody comes back and all of the furniture and all of the pictures are rearranged and whatever. You know what I mean? That would be awesome.
Well, no, I think what he'll do is that like while they're like asleep or somewhere else, he moves around the furniture so that way whenever the people are running away, they keep tripping over furniture because they don't know where the
They don't know what
furniture used to
they
be.
don't know.
So they're like, when I didn't put this fucking couch here. When the fuck did
Yeah.
this chair get here?
The recliner shouldn't be in front of the stairs. That's
Yeah.
wrong. Frank said, let's be honest, Loomis and Michael won't be in it, but I would like to see the Wonder Years show with little Mikey Myers' inner thoughts from his chair recollecting. Yeah, that'd be interesting. So one thing we haven't touched on yet, and this is something in a perfect world, I was really hoping that after Halloween ends, we would let Michael rest for a little while. The character of Michael
No,
rest for a little while.
they really spent like, I don't know, that was like a year, wasn't it?
Yep.
It was really
It was like a year before, like a year and a half maybe before we knew something else was coming. Yeah,
How do you
they
feel about
wasted
that?
0 time. I think it should have rested for a little while. I think Halloween Ends should have been it for a little while. Now, here's my thing. Me personally, I would have liked it if we got Season of the Witch. If they would have done something with Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. In the time between Halloween Ends and whatever the next Michael Myers project is.
Mm-hmm.
Would everybody be okay if they somehow tied in Halloween 3 to this Michael Myers story? Or
have
if
Michael
you're doing,
have
if
Michael
you're doing
influenced by the radio towers, or
right, if you the chips in the masks. Yeah, like if you and I'm not saying it has to be related, like super related, but like, would everybody be okay if like if they revealed that, like, hey, Michael's mask has the green silver shamrock chip in it, and then you do a spin-off show that's the story of Halloween 3 with Chalice and, you know, him being a sexual predator and what? No, not really. Not sexual predator. I guess he's a you know, sexual harassment person.
he's a sexual deviant is what he is.
He really is. You know, would you be okay with that being a spinoff? As much as I want to see a Halloween 3 series or a movie or something, well, it'd be a series. I would want to see a series.
Something.
As much as I would love that, I don't think it would work if they're doing a Michael Myers thing simultaneously. Now, if you want to put a nod to it, and you throw the chip in Michael's mask, like, that's cool. Like, whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah, Million, I'm kind of with you. If it's about, like, Michael is a pawn of the Silver Shamrock Company, that's
not like a pawn, but just like a unfortunate accident. You know what I mean? That opens the doors.
Yeah, but if you did that, you would imply that the chip is the reason why he's like that. You know what I mean? And I don't like that. That doesn't make sense to me. If you're gonna do a Halloween 3 story, just do a Halloween 3 story.
Do it differently, gosh.
Gosh. Just do it its own thing. Again, as a fan nod, if when you finally see Michael's mask, if you see the Silver Shamrock thing at some point in a glimpse, and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. I see that. All right. Yeah. And then you're back to watching, as normal. Like, that's fine, you know. But again, I don't think we need to take the time and be like the Scooby-Doo thing. Michael's mask, Silver Shamrock, Stonehenge, the magnetic chip. Like, we don't need to do, you know what I mean? It doesn't need to be some big reveal of like, oh, Michael's being controlled by the Silver Shamrock. That, like, we don't need that. That's too much. But I think Halloween 3 has so much potential there. There's so much potential with that story that has never been realized. And I'm just like, I'm dying for something to be done with it, but I don't think they're going to. Personally, I don't think they're going to do it. I think they're going to stick with Michael. So,
damn.
Million said Michael then has 2 different masks from Shamrock because he had the clown one at 6, the Shatner 15 years later. Yeah, you would have to say that too.
The chip.
Yep, you would have to say that. And you would also have to say that they've been doing this. Like, why would they be passing out chips that far apart? Yeah, that wouldn't work. There's no way that would work in the story.
I don't think it would work. Fuck it.
I don't think it would work. Why would they be passing out chips in the masks for over a decade when you know that the kids that are wearing them 15 years ago aren't going to be wearing them to die? And, like, that doesn't make any sense.
It'd be like test. Oh, it wouldn't be like to die. It'd just be like to control, to like make them go crazy.
I know, but the whole point was to kill them. Like that's the entire point of like the kids wearing the masks in
Well, it
Halloween 3
doesn't
is to
have to
kill
be
them at
like
the
the
end.
initial point. It could just be like small,
Oh, like it started
small
off as
cases.
like a
Started
mind
off
control
as like
kind
a
of thing, and
yeah,
then
and then it just
I
became more
see, I
radical,
see,
and
I
they were
see,
like,
I see, I see.
"Fuck it, kill all the kids," kind of
That's
thing.
fair. Yeah. I'll tell you, Dave McRae on his channel, he's got a really cool idea of what they would do for Halloween 3. I don't necessarily I haven't given enough thought to really think about like, hey, if they did a Halloween, like a Season of the Witch series, what would that look like? I don't know exactly, but I think there's a lot. I've come to really, really adore that movie, and I think there's a lot of potential there in terms of like what exactly they could do. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
So, but yeah, there are so many different questions about this series from within the horror community, um, and so many questions about what this would look like. And the cool thing about it is, as we said at the top of the show, like you know, it's it's going to be speculation for a long time now, and like what we talked about with Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, like that was so much fun. Like
I
I
don't
have
know.
very
I
fond
think they'll
memories of
probably throw
that.
some more news out there soon. It'd
They
be foolish
will.
for them to like throw something right now and then just like say nothing
Right, and we'll get
for
a
years.
synopsis or
Hmm.
something like that. I found it interesting that the Miramax guy, I forget his name now, that he said a group of characters that they haven't really focused on in any of the film adaptations or any of the film versions of it.
Ooh, yes.
What group of characters? Like who? I mean, I'm thinking like Lonnie. I'm thinking like who did we not focus on? Because it's a relatively like tight knit group of people, and they focused on them in Halloween
Here, Frank
Kills.
said something earlier.
You know,
He said focus more on Tommy and Lindsay in high school years.
high school years. That'd be cool too. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you made Tommy and Lindsay more of a Lindsay, if you made Tommy
Lindsay.
and Lindsay more of a part of it, I could see that too. That would work.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. As opposed to just having it like Tommy holding in that fear for like fucking 50 years where he's a 40-year-old scaredy little brat and just actually have him like, deal with the trauma. Yeah.
outside of the boogeyman.
I'd like to see him focus more on like I'd like to see a story
Shut your
maybe
mouth.
more in like the high school, you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
So are you saying make them older instead of making them a kid?
Yeah, or maybe focus on Tommy and Lindsay,
But
and
then if
the
that
TV
happens,
show.
that would have to happen later on in the story because like the whole point is that Lori is babysitting them. There'd be no point for Lori to be there if she wasn't babysitting them.
Again, have flashbacks. Have flashbacks to the original events and just have Tommy and Lindsay suffer through high school and deal
That's
with their
fair.
trauma of going through that and then
That's
just
fair.
have the whole thing of like Michael returning kind of thing.
That's fair. Yeah, Million. I did a video about this a while ago too. Dwight Little said that they should make a Halloween 4 Part 2. WTF? Shake my head. I'm like, yeah. It would the only way that works. If Frank is still here, he'll probably hate me for this because I think he's a big H4 fan. The only way that a sequel to Halloween 4 works is if you do it in the fan film thing. If you get like a Womp Stomp Films to do it, and they take it and they get Danielle back and they get what's her face who played Rachel back. Rachel, um, I forget her name now. I'm blanking. But if you got them back and did it like a fan film type thing, that's the only way that would work. 100%.
I don't want no cult. I
Nobody
don't
would
want
know.
cult.
Nobody would have any idea what was going on if you just
Yeah.
randomly were like, "Hey, sequel to Halloween." But nobody would know. It would be way too confusing. So,
No.
but yeah, man, there's a lot to talk about, and there's a lot that we're going to be talking about with this. So,
Mhm.
any final word before we start to round out this show tonight?
For me
Yeah,
or
no cult story from
yeah,
anybody. Rosie, I agree. No cult story. No cult of Thorn. No, no.
I think the cult of Thorn thing was just such a throwaway, and I don't think it should even be given further any
Attention.
further yeah, honestly. Like
Yeah,
at least with like Season of the Witch, like it was actually explained what the fuck their thing was, as opposed to like the Cult of Thorn didn't really have much, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
So
Well, so for me the big ticket items here, I think don't make the original film canon.
mhm.
Base the concept off of the original film, but expand on it. Start with Michael killing Judith. Expand on the Smiths Grove thing. Expand on the relationship between Loomis and Michael. Expand on Loomis's psyche and kind of how that deteriorates throughout those 15 years in trying to help Michael and in treating Michael. And the escape, and then really stretch out the events of what Michael is doing. Add some events, make more mayhem in the Halloween 78 story once he actually gets to Haddonfield. End that first season with Michael falling off of the balcony. Loomis looks down, he's gone. I think that is how you do this, and then you can branch out and you can do a second season or do a movie. You can do whatever you want from there. But that's my take on what they should do with the series. But again, we're going to be talking about this a lot. There's going to be a lot of speculation. There's
Welcome
going to be
back,
a lot
guys.
of conversation.
Michael Myers is back within like a year. So
I don't know if it'll be within a year, but
no,
hopefully,
I mean, after a year of like Halloween Ends, he's back.
Yeah.
He's back.
He's definitely coming back sooner rather than later. So, listen, thank you all for joining us. I know it's not quite as long as we've normally gone, we usually go on live streams, but that's okay. Please, if you're listening after the fact, whether you're on Spotify or on YouTube or any of the other podcast platforms, whatever, please leave us a comment down below and let us know, what would you like to see out of the Halloween TV series? Do you want more of a grounded approach to, a retelling of the original film, or do you want to just go balls to the wall and do something completely different with a new set of characters? Please let us know your thoughts in the comments below. You can also tweet at us at LTM Podcast KY. And while you're there, follow us on all of our social media. It's all up there in the top left-hand corner of the screen. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, all of that stuff at LTM Podcast KY. If you have not joined the Let's Talk Movies Facebook group, again, right up there, top right-hand corner, Let's Talk Movies YouTube channel / community page. We will go ahead and let you in that group so you can join in on the fun and the nudes and everything. No, I'm kidding. There's no nudes in our group. Please, Trent, whoever.
That's on my personal link, man. I got a family to feed.
That's Miguel's OnlyFans account. You'll have to check that. So, and you can also find us on Spotify as well. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to leave this one a like. If you're new, consider subscribing to our channel. If you want to check out the video I made last night as well, again, we rehashed some of those same ideas here as well. But if you want to check that out, you can. That's up on the channel. We're going to get into posting some more standalone content. I want to get back into doing that. So, you guys are amazing. We love you. Coming up very soon, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we're going to do the Purely and Simply Evil episode, taking a big old deep dive into Dr. Sleep. That's going to be the 30th episode of Purely and Simply Evil. So take care. Have an awesome rest of your weekend, and we will talk to you soon. Peace out, everybody. See ya.
Peace out.